Hey, Magic Weaver. Welcome back to the Weaving Magick podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Lilly.
And I'm Tara Webb.
And we're bringing in the spring.
Yes, I was still looking at my book when we started. Yes, we're bringing in spring because at least for us, not for California right now, but for us, it's like really spring here.
Well, for you, it's really spring. For me,
it's not springy.
It's 70 degrees one day and springy, and then the next day it's 30, cold and snowing. So
okay,
it's very up and down. So yes and no.
I love it.
But we're going to run with it. There's sunlight today.
And I planted my garden. This will probably come out a few weeks after you see my stories on Instagram. But I planted my garden. Really excited for it. Just to be all springy and everything out there. I'm ready. I'm so ready.
So let's talk about it's springtime. Ostara is coming up. So let's talk about what is Ostara and when is it? I don't have that written down. I think you do, at least the dates.
It's so Ostara would be kind of the spring equinox.
Yes.
Which is like around the 19th to the 21st time frame.
Mm-hmm. You have to look it up. It's when the day and night are the same time.
And the energy of it is typically around like that entire time. See, we've talked about this in the past, but you should tune into our Chaotic Cauldron for the month about Chronos, of time and time changes and that kind of stuff. I feel like, here it's kind of already spring. So, to say it's specifically these days, it could be. But also we want to also go with the energy. If you're experiencing like a lot of snow right now, spring's coming, but you don't necessarily go plant your stuff quite yet. So you're filling in more to the energy. The actual time is, the 19th to the 21st. And that's basically what they did in the older days of, seeing little shoots come up from the ground and that kind of stuff. They were able to track, I truly believe, they were able to track like the stars and the sun and all that kind of stuff. Just with like how knowledgeable they were. I sometimes feel like they were more intelligent than we are.
I feel like it's just because we just take everything for granted because we can just Google it real quick. So we're not as curious.
Well, I agree with that because partially because our brain has stored the information that people would typically have to have. We now store it for other things because we have the technology. But where I think is I think they had their own technology. I think that absolutely. We allow our technology to take the place, whereas they used it in collaboration, right? I think because you think of like Atlantis and Lemuria.
There's a difference between using a tool for its purpose and becoming dependent on a tool.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's and side note, we've already kind of looked this up. I say Ostara, and it's funny because my name is Tara, like how I've given the name. Even saying that's kind of weird, Tara, and so I think I say Ostara because those kind of things I'm used to it. Alyssa calls me Tara, obviously.
It was so funny when I go see her because everybody calls her Tara and I'm like, oh, that's not her name. It's Tara.
Because that's what in person, that's kind of what everybody typically calls me. In all of my business stuff, it's Tara because that's kind of who I step into more. I don't feel like I can fully be myself. I am myself, but I'm not like my witchy, I did curse in front of somebody's kids yesterday who's very Christian and I didn't mean to. But also she was like, it happens. And it was also just not a simple word. It was like the F word.
Which we drop here frequently.
We do. It's cool. So we're saying this and I was like, well, let's look up how to say it. Cause it could be like Samhain where you look at it as like Samhain. That's how I said it the first time.
Yeah, me too. I think everybody does it when they first get into it. Samhain.
Samhain.
No. Why is everyone saying Samhain? Are those two different things? Oh.
So I was wondering about that. And according to what Alyssa found, it is Ostara. From this book, also, if you want to look kind of into the magic around your family, this book is really good. The Magical Family. I love it. I don't reference it as much as I should. obviously because I found Odin in here and we've already done our chaotic cauldron about Odin. So details, it's okay. But this is really cool because it takes you through all of the holidays. What's another word for that? The
celebrations?
Yeah, the celebrations. Yeah. And it even has like a section called Growing Up Pagan.
Oh, I definitely need this. I feel like there's so many limited resources around.
It's so pretty. Yeah, there is.
Raising a family pagan.
And so I'm going to read this little beginning part. It's so pretty. My children sing out for the maiden to awaken, and she rewards them with a green fire that spreads throughout the valley, kindling the birdsong and our hearts with cheer. And then at the end, farewell to the muck and snow, and with the light negativity must go. Welcome, maiden of greening trees. Thank you for renewed energy. Blessed be the maiden. Because that is the maiden energy. You know, this is what's coming up is the maiden energy. So we will tag this. I also feel like it's the full energy. If you're looking at the tarot deck, this is definitely the full. This is when you're trying new things and being curious and lovers,
and creative and silly.
Young lovers, and like getting
lovers
frisky.
That love at first sight versus
the Cupid energy too that we just talked about. Like if Cupid and doing things he probably should not have. So this comes from Ostara, the Germanic goddess of dawn, fertility, and new beginnings. And that's where I was like, how do you say Ostara? Because to me it's Ostara, but if you say Ostar, I guess it depends on how you would pronounce that.
Maybe it is Ostara.
You know, I have a friend who lives across the road who speaks German, and I'll ask her how she would pronounce it later on.
Yes.
And we'll also
stay
put that in
tuned
show
on
notes.
Our stories. Yeah.
Yep. Here's how you pronounce it. So it's called the vernal equinox because this is when the sun comes out more. It is. I don't know. I'm just really excited for spring.
Our days are getting longer. The spring is literally here. It's coming.
I will say I'm not typically a fan of time change, the time change and stuff, because I like this natural feel. I will enjoy the sun being out longer, but I will feel like in the wintertime it will feel as if it's too long, maybe. Because I know that they're trying to not change it again. Like this is supposed to be the last time supposedly that they're wanting to change. I hope that actually goes into effect. But
that's actually happening.
It's supposed to be. That was like something that was. I think Trump got it into motion, and then Biden as well. And it's like it's supposed to be something that's actually supposed to be happening this year. Maybe next year at the latest. But from what I see, it's supposed to be like this is the last year of time change kind of thing. I don't know how much they actually have announced it though.
I'm curious of how that will change my internal clock.
Yeah. Well, I'll think about
without having that jolting back and forth, like just to be consistent. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, and I would prefer this time to be consistent, but also just in general, consistency is fine. Like, at this point, we just need it. So her symbols include the hare and the eggs, both potent fertility symbols. Well, yeah, because we have the Easter egg bunny.
Wonder where that came from.
I mean, one is that I typed up a post about this last year or something about the hare giving birth to eggs to help for some reason. I don't remember exactly what it was. And so therefore it was like, I have to go back and look up that story, where it came from. But it's
just wild. It's just wild to me how Easter, which is supposed to be this celebration of Jesus' rising, the whole process of rising, right? And where did Easter eggs and bunnies come from? We know where they come from. They took these traditions and practices and morphed it so that they would be more convertible. That's not the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And also Easter is not the set time either. It is the first full moon after something is what I told you.
It's so, yeah. It's
something
the
like
first,
that.
It's the last full moon. Oh gosh, I don't remember. I'm going to look it up while you talk.
Okay. So apparently this maiden, the Ellen of Ways, is an antler goddess, the green lady, guardian of land. It's just very much connecting with the earth and doing fun things. I think it's also a different one as well. That comes more from the Native Americans, the Ellen of the Ways. I think it's actually a different goddess than Ostara.
So swinging back, how freaking witchy is this shit? Easter is the first Sunday after the full moon that occurs on or after the spring equinox.
Yeah.
Easter is the first Sunday after the full moon that occurs on or after the spring equinox.
And since the full moon constantly changes, it's anywhere from March to April.
Yeah.
And in this 2023, it's in April.
Yeah. So magical.
Eggs are also meant to bring good luck and like blessings. So like, you know, especially like when you grind up eggs, eggshells for your garden, and they put it over. Eggshells and protection spells are really, really good for that as well. So I can imagine
Tell them about the activity we did with our kids last year, because you're the one who introduced it to me.
The egg and the wildflowers?
Yes.
We're going to do that this year. I'm going to get a bunch of eggs. But you get eggs, and you like make a hole at the top as small as you can, but it's difficult. And you like dump out the yolk and the insides and let it dry out. And
you can still cook the insides, don't waste.
You get the wildflower seeds, and you can also mix it with some soil and put them in there. And then after it's dry, and then around that time, you just go and do Easter egg bombs. And you can like throw them at people, but also like just throw them at the ground. I would also like to do some where it's like chalk bombs too, just for fun.
Oh my gosh.
So like maybe we can hide them. I think because that's what I did with my kids one time was I hid them one year. And they found them, and the person had the most to like, you know, throw them and that kind of thing. So like, you know, what I might do is just have that one where they break those, but also hide the others that have some kind of chalk stuff in it. So like painting each other, like the festival. What was the festival we talked
colors. About? Festival of Color. I don't remember the exact name.
I think it ends in an I.
Nuts.
Look it up.
I am.
Hello, internet. This is why we aren't connected with nature as much. We are not judging at all because that's exactly how we are.
It's exactly what we do.
I finally gave in to getting
Hangama?
Holly. I knew it in an Holly. Yeah, Holly. I finally gave in to getting a smartwatch, and it's been years, like 4 years since.
And I love it because I'm getting these long messages that
and they don't make sense.
Talking to her watch
because you actually can't like go back and adjust. Maybe you can. Technological like issues here cannot go back up, and I'm like, how do I adjust? I'm just gonna send it, and I'll like fix it later.
I'll explain later.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I was like on this little rampage of like, I want to do this for Weaving Magick, and Alyssa was like,
it was great.
I don't understand.
I have no idea what you're saying.
I like your excitement.
Love the energy. I'm here. Yes.
So like fully into technology and that kind of stuff. It's okay. My husband is a cyber geek with all the certs and everything and stuff, and I'm just like, la 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 la, help me build a garden.
Surrounded by the nerds.
It's okay. Which is why I have boys, I feel like, to help, because my boys have such feminine energy.
They do.
They're outside with, they were with the garden, and then their friends are out, and they're like, I gotta go play. Bye, Mom. So that's a really fun, like, egg thing to do, just because eggs are so good for nature, too.
Mm-hmm. Do you do any extra intentions when you do this, or is it just going through with the idea that you're giving back and spring is coming, you're planting those seeds?
More so giving back and planting seeds and family connection and that kind of stuff, thanking the earth, getting excited, being very connective in that way.
I point this out because I feel like we have this people who practice magic or are just coming into, we think we have to have we have to set this big intention and meditate with this egg before we throw it. And it's really just about the fun.
Yep.
This particular activity.
I mean, and you can set even more intention. We just don't. It's just fun for,
it's okay to have the big intention and ceremony. It's okay to have fun and just be in the moment with it.
I'm looking up the bunny and egg history.
Yeah, I know bunnies are a big symbol of fertility. I mean, even a lot of the sayings we have now when it comes to like reproduction, like you reproduce like bunnies, or I don't think that's the actual saying, but there's something along those lines.
I know it was something with Ostara. I just don't remember exactly what happened with it. What do you think you'll do this year with Ostara?
So I think for me, Ostara, whatever it's called. I really feel like a good, I don't know, I'm starting new, I'm getting lost in my words. I have so many ideas in my head trying to be spoken at one time. I don't know if anybody else does that. I want to do more of bringing goals into action. So like we didn't do a, oh gosh, I'm struggling with words today. What are those called? The boards.
Vision boards?
Vision boards. We didn't do vision boards in the new year because we wanted to do it more in spring. So for me,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So for me, I really want to take the time to do do and
I had this huge goal. Thank you.
Vision board. Yes.
Let's add that.
But I started going to the queer gym. I've started focusing more on my eating and nourishing my body. I'm coming out of winter. I'm in this phase of transition. So I feel like right now, a lot of my practices are around setting goals and family schedule. So like we're adding in some homeschooling for the kids before bed and trying to do it where we both my husband and I can be involved. I'm also going to do the egg activity. I'm really excited about that. I am trying to figure out the best way to do it because there are regulations with the HOA and planting things in my neighborhood, but I think we can do it in my backyard. So that's something I'm trying to work through right now, but we're,
it's having fun, really. You could go to a park too.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And because you kind of be planting them and
there's some forest nearby too.
It's like when you throw the egg down, obviously it's not going to break entirely. So stomp on it, like smush it with love in a sense.
I could bring a little stereo and we could dance on the eggshells. See, I love this. Is why
so like you can do it because I saw this TikTok of where people were riding on their scooters or whatever, just sprinkling wildflowers around the city. So like that kind of thing. I could not find where I had written about Ostara and the Easter egg bunny, but it was something like she had saved somebody and so they were like reborn in the egg or something like that. We will find it, as always. But yeah, it's just very much a time of connecting and being very sexual.
This is the energy of New Year, but in the right place when you're feeling it. And yes, it is very sexual. This is a very fertile time, very sexy energy.
It is. The egg has been used to symbolize renewal and fertility since ancient times. In Germany, egg was smeared on plows to ensure the fertility of the land. Early Europeans hung eggs from trees, which we've seen those, and buried them beneath burgeoning roots to symbolize life's regenerative forces. In ancient China and parts of India, women proposed marriage by handing a man an egg. Well, there you go. If a woman wanted to become pregnant, North European folk magic dictated tossing her an egg. Oh, hopefully she caught it. You're pregnant. Ah!
I would be so mad. Like, although they may have thought of it as a blessing. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe
in this day and age,
like it's going up. I don't know.
That's a way to get the gears turning there.
And even early Christians believed that if eggs laid on Good Friday were cooked on Easter, it promoted fertility to crops. Because, I mean, truly... Is
that why there's always deviled eggs at freaking Easter?
Probably. I mean, even early Christians were very much in connection with magic and like that kind of stuff because that's how Jesus... or the image of Jesus. If
Jesus was a magical person. We should do a chaotic culture of Jesus.
Oh, that's a huge one because some people believe he wasn't actually real, but it's more of an energy. Like Buddha wasn't real, like that kind of thing, but also he was. It's so fascinating. It's great. Yeah.
Also, just to bring back your point about the bunnies. So the tale is that Ostara, the ancient Germanic goddess of the spring, transformed a bird into a hare, and the hare was spawned by laying colored eggs. Colored eggs. I'm going to repeat that for her festival.
Can you imagine trying to find color back then? Like trying to find color back then to have colored eggs. Because it was so difficult to have, like,
Probably
you had to get certain plants. Yeah, but certain plants.
Yeah.
And even then it wasn't bright and like it just...
Plants and berries. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that symbolism right there, a bird transformed into a hare, a death and rebirth. And
something
then celebrated by...
too.
Yeah, completely different. And we go through that cycle so many different times in our lives. So I really love how Ostara brings that into the perspective of it's normal and it's okay to change. It warms my heart. I love Ostara.
I do too. So as I'm looking in here in my spirit book that we talk about with the chaotic cauldron, I'm trying to find Ostara's name and see, you know, if she has extra stuff in here. I did a bullet journal that I posted more on my page. I'm going to start sharing on the Weaving Magick page because it's just actually where I create my magic. Not every day, but it's really nice because I still write in my journal every day mostly. And this is like per month. I don't do a weekly or daily thing because I don't actually keep up with them. I don't keep up with what I'm doing every single day, especially since I'm focusing more on my family and I don't have like other scheduled stuff. It's just being here with the family. Mm-hmm. So in it, I have like a wheel of the year, which is really beautiful that I love. I have, you know, the moon calendar that I created. And so in that, I also have, and we'll share it on our Instagram. I have where I did Ostara plants and I have little eggs and they're different colors. And some of the ones that I want to get done, and mind you, it's not in one day, right? It's in different season, in the entire season, as well as you can even go past the regular time, right? It's just connecting with the energy of spring. We don't ever want it to be, well, you've missed it. You're out of the full moon energy, like that kind of stuff. It's just, you do you. So I've already said the egg break because that's super fun. Plant flowers. I have some sunflowers that I want to plant. I love sunflowers. Sunflowers are just fun to me. I want to make cupcakes and maybe put like something in the middle of it. I don't know what.
I have some carrots. I've been wanting to make some like carrot
cupcakes.
That'd
be good. Carrot cupcakes. Mm-hmm. Like a jelly bean in the middle. I have some of the organic, like no dye kind of jelly beans. You tried some, Alyssa, didn't you?
I don't think so. Brand? I don't think I ever. No, I never got the chance. I didn't think about it, which is crazy.
Really good.
Sweet.
So it's like natural dyes and that kind of thing, and you can like maybe put that in there. Do a deep clean, which you've kind of already been doing, but just to finish up again, just because it is spring. I'm going to add in there my vision board because I kind of forgot because I'm so used to doing it in the beginning, even though I didn't, and I'm just being so intentional right now.
I need a new screensaver. My last year vision board is my screensaver, and it just doesn't align with me. And it's time to shift it.
And, you know, doing a wheel of the year, too, because I like to do those. I did one last year at the beginning of the year. I didn't do one, obviously, this year. But when I went back and actually looked at it, and it, from what I remember, right, because I don't remember the entire year, every single thing. But from what I remember of, like, each month, it was actually pretty on point. Granted, as you know, cards can be taken and can like adjust to whatever. It's just fascinating to be like, you know, really hone in on your connection with your friends as they will support you in this time. That month was like a very difficult one for me. So it's very interesting. I'm going to wash the sheets and like really clean up that kind of stuff too. And I'll have an intent for planting. So I'm probably going to like all the garden stuff that I'm doing is actually like, this may sound weird, but bless it. Like really call in the goddess around it and that kind of thing. I want to go on a picnic. And watermelon's not in season yet, but well, mangoes are. I love mangoes. But go on and just make a big like, food picnic or something.
That'll be yummy.
Wash the dogs because they need cleaning too. I want to create a new wreath.
That's not just an Ostara thing, to be clear.
Right. I don't just like wash the dogs and just my sheets once a year. I don't, but I want to be like intentional with it and like go around and sage and like, every time I sage or if I use anything clearing, because I don't always use sage. If I use anything clearing, my dogs are like dashing for the cage. They're like, leave, don't clear me. I don't know why.
That's funny.
Maybe there's something wrong with my dogs. I don't know. Garden altar. So it's like not just my garden, but maybe having a little section out there for maybe not for the Fae, but for like, for maybe the goddess specifically. Because I feel like if I do the Fae, I'm very cautious about the Fae.
I feel like I need to be more knowledgeable before we dive into that realm.
Even then, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then just a family walk. And that's more of like my intention in general is to start doing more family walks. So it's not like, once again, we only take walks.
I love how planned you are. I'm just like, I think I'm going to do this and just lean into the energy. And it's funny, too, because watch the people around you. They more likely than not are tuning into this energy and not even realizing it. For example, my partner, my husband, love him. He never gets in the mood to clean, ever. And he went to the store yesterday, bought me flowers, bought us all little stuffed animals that have bunny ears on them, and then he bought a new vacuum and new filters.
We got a new vacuum too. Yeah. I love it.
And he got filters for
buy
our
a new
AC.
Vacuum for
And he's upstairs changing the sheets and cleaning the house and vacuuming. And I mean, he helps clean, but never like all in one day, like, intentionally. And it's just like, he's not even into like, I don't even think he knows what Ostara is. I mean, he does, but he
knows what spring is mostly. So
yes, and so it's just so fun to see people around you just naturally tapping into this energy. You don't have to overthink it.
No. And I don't plan out, right? Like typically I'm not the kind of person. And that was just my intention this year with my bullet journal of like, I'm not going to make it into this huge thing that is stressful because my bullet journal used to be that. And this time it's just like the fun stuff that I want to do. And that's why I enjoy, because at mine I have like a season. So I had winter. And then I had my January little section that has the small calendar. And I have the tracking that I want. Well, I guess I didn't do January. I did February. My tracking that I want. So like, if I'm writing, tracking my water, tracking my vitamins, that kind of thing. And then I flip over and the next page I had a mood journal per se where I tracked my mood every day. It created like this little heart. Well, I created a heart out of it. My boy said it looked like a kite. And I was like, I love when you do something like that. And even like little kids are like, oh, I love that you did this. It's like, that was not my intention, but I love that you see it that way.
Well, now I want to go fly kites.
There you go. That you can do it on Ostara too. Go fly kites. So yeah, I kind of did the same thing for this one. And then on the other side, I had Ostara plan. So like, it can even be just quickly writing out something. Well,
and it's good to write things down like that because there could be a year on Ostara where you're not in that energy and it can help inspire you to look back on what did I do last year and not have to think about it.
Yep. And that's typically, we typically have, Alyssa and I did this huge ritual. When was that?
What ritual are you talking about?
Was that in 2020?
It was Ostara, wasn't it?
Was it Ostara? It was a big one. Or was it the summer?
Oh, you know what? It was the summer.
Because it was hot.
We were outside, yeah.
We did it over Zoom. And it was like this big intention when actually we were like, we'd finally connected really well. And we were still on the burgeoning. Is that version? The growing, I'm trying to think of like how to say that word. Burgeoning. I have to say.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
It was like the growing of our relationship when we kind of knew that we were twin flames, like that kind of stuff. But it was still new and awkward, but cool awkward.
Yeah,
like if that's a thing.
We've gone through a lot of deconstructing of previous friendships with each other for sure.
Yeah, let me see how to pronounce this. Hold on. Versioning. And it's growing, expanding, or developing rapidly, which is us.
Like with a V, versioning?
So spelling it is Burgeoning. But
I've never seen that word.
Really? But pronouncing it is burgeoning. Okay. Burgeoning. And the example is Colorado's burgeoning marijuana industry has struggled under its own. Anywho, but yeah, we did like a huge ritual then. We have not done one since. We've done smaller ones, like we've done satchels.
I was going to say we did satchels. We also did jars.
But I'd say like that was our big one. I feel like we like went all out.
We meditated. We did yoga. We were really intentional. We did a big like it was a
huge intentional with our herbs. Mm-hmm. We had this satchel under our pillow for a long time.
Let's do that this summer. Let's call that in. We're gonna do that this summer.
We have created a money one that we kind of carry around with us.
Yep.
That was last year. And that was a good one.
Last year?
I think so. Yeah, it was because we were calling him some big numbers. And we got the big numbers.
We did. That's wild.
Stay tuned for an episode around creating money abundance. We'll do that because we've done jars around that. We've done some satchels and that kind of stuff. And that was just really fun.
A lot of mindset work too.
It is. It's not just like, I want money, like at all. But we'll talk about that later because we have a lot to discuss.
That's a big tangent. Multiple episodes.
I will go off that. But so that was like kind of another we did. So the whole point of this is we've done one big one, maybe kind of two big ones. I really think the other ones like are like top, like our top one. And we kind of haven't done like as much since then. We've done smaller ones that have been really impactful and really fun. And so the whole point is being in that intentional mindset throughout the day. And it doesn't have to be like all out, go out, do it every single time. If you can do that, that's amazing. If you can't, do you. Like if the most you can do is boil eggs and eat the eggs, do it. Like there, you did.
If you don't like eggs, paint in bright colors. Like get creative.
Or even get chalk and draw chalk eggs on your driveway. There's another one. I like that idea.
Do that.
Mm-hmm. Chalk eggs. Get bubbles. Bubbles, like I think, is like the epitome of spring.
Yes, I've already pulled out my bubble machine a couple of times. Yeah. That's my children's love language. If you didn't know it was a love language, you do now.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we need to make children love language things now. I'm like in this huge creative.
Yeah, and I can feel the vata.
It's everywhere. I did.
But that's what you've been calling it. So that's great.
Creativity. Mm-hmm. I'm tapping into my creativity, and we encourage you to, if you have the ability to, this spring. Another book I'm pulling out is The Beginner's Guide to Runes, because I pulled a rune for us, which just felt very much of Odin-esque and Freya and that kind of thing. I feel
like you and I were getting really like in tune with our runes, and then at least I just stopped using them to get back into it.
Well, I got pregnant, and then that's when typically things go at the beginning for me. I'm like,
I don't have any reason.
No, you do have reasons. You have things that were going on.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Also our energy is very, very interlinked.
Synced up. It's so wild.
It is. So I pulled La Goose. I feel like we get this one a lot.
We do.
Which is funny because I was starting to write another series as I'm working on my book about water. And that's what this one's about, of course. It's about
Universe, I see you.
Lagoon. And so it represents water and all the life-giving abundance it represents. So like we're here talking about abundance. That could be our next episode. Ancient Norse world, travel over waterways was like the necessary of life itself. And that's like in a lot of different cultures. You think in ancient Egypt, having to go over the waters and the Nile River and that kind of thing. We should also do a good, deep episode on past life because I feel just so much draw to Egypt. I think a lot of us do. Yeah, right? Yeah. A lot of us do, I think, to Egypt because a lot of us were there. And it just, that was one of the huge burgeoning, that's the word of the month.
Burgeoning.
I need to take a note for that. We're going to put that on
word witch here.
Yep. A lot of us were there when humanity was kicking up. Also with Lemuria and Atlantis. So those kinds of time periods, I feel like are huge, just rev ups of humanity again. Because I feel like civilizations have fallen and grown and that kind of thing.
Death and rebirth.
Constantly. So Laguz represents the ebb and flow of our unconscious, our emotional state. Well, hello, Pisces season. Right? We're in Pisces
I didn't realize it was Pisces season. This makes so much more sense.
Yeah. My son's birthday's tomorrow. He turns 7. He's a Pisces. I cut his hair off last night. Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
I didn't tell you because I feel really bad because I feel like I sucked and it doesn't suck. It looks good. But like I have all this I almost cried. Because like I have a little spots where like there's less hair. It's not a hole, but like less hair because he moved a little bit. I was like, and all he wanted was for it out of his face. And like he has these beautiful curls that are down to his shoulders. And now he has like short hair with like a little bit right here that's longer. Because he wanted it out of his face. That's another episode. About when to cut your hair, because like actually even if you just trim it, it's or even going to get your hair cut, it's good times to cut it like with the full moon, the new moon, like what you want to call in. So we actually technically cut it on the eve per se of the full moon. The full moon is like in a day or two. So like I mean that he's calling in the releasing, which is very funny because he also said the other day, I think I texted that to you as well, Alyssa. This is my 7-year-old Pisces he's a manifesting generator. He just has a lot of wisdom. All my kids do.
They do. If you haven't listened to the episode with Dom, so great.
Yes, and this isn't Dom, this is Thomas.
Yeah.
So
all your kids are magical.
Yeah, but they all do. But with Thomas, he is very magical, unintentionally. He's the kid that's good at everything.
He's the kid that whispers, "I am magic" to a candle.
Yes, I am magic to a candle. He has little feathers for the birds, just leaving him feathers. I'm trying to find it really quickly because it was just so cute. Past. Yeah, Thomas says, "The future is what is ahead of you. The past is behind you. It's what you're supposed to let go of." So last night as we're cutting hair, I was like, oh, also it's a full moon, and we can like let go of things. And he's like, I've let go of my past. I was like, what have you let go of? Just everything, like being hurt. I was hurt as a baby, right? Mom, like I got hurt. I was like, well, yeah, you got hurt. You like fell down. Yeah, I was like, but you know, you like realize it's not letting go of the good things. It's like the painful things that keep you stuck. Oh, so I can remember the good things? Yes. He was just gonna like release everything.
Just release it all. It didn't happen. It's gone by.
It's fine. It's fine. So like that's cutting hair. That's another episode that we'll get into. But he just like he cut it all off, and
that is such an example of magic is truly just a part of who we are if we just listen. It comes natural to us.
It does. It does. So he's very much. Laguz is very much of the Pisces energy. It also connects with the realm of the dead, which is we're talking about that right now, of like the spring coming up and death and everything. It's also like with water, there's the lifeblood of Mother Earth. I'm trying to think what else it says. Is the rune of psychic, I could not talk for a second, psychic powers and intuition. When you see Laguz in a reading, it can very well mean that you should trust your intuition, and there's further need to develop it. So magic weavers, where have you not been listening to yourself? Even if like, you have really good intuition, right? Like even if you have really good intuition, and just connecting with that. Oh, this is hilarious. In magic, you can obviously use it to help with your intuition and to help ease emotions. You can draw Laguz on your forehead with your finger, which makes me think of Ash Wednesday.
It does.
I might do that today.
Let's do it. I'll take a
I actually
picture.
have a candle, a match from where I could like do that. As well as intone the room while doing so to help increase those powers. It's great for creativity. Can be the same way to help with writer's block. Any other writers out there?
There's your challenge.
I know, right? Helps heal emotions, and much like Bracana, can use to help heal the reproductive system. Calling you out, Alyssa, as well as ease the discomfort of menstruation.
Why are you calling me out?
Heal the reproductive system, and I feel like there's a lot. I feel like for you, there's a lot of things that Alyssa has been putting out, especially with her course that just came out and that kind of stuff. And the attack, like the hate for just no fucking reason.
It's wild.
It's wild. And so like, we're pretty good at maintaining, but at some point, like it does hurt. At some point it's going to hit just because it's a lot.
It was me last night.
Cheers. And while that's not necessarily quote unquote Alyssa's reproductive system, it's attacking that. And it feels like, as an AFAB, as a woman personally for me, but like as an AFAB, in general, like any kind of like attacks on who you are feels like attack of your reproductive system, because that's basically how you're defined, you know? Yeah. The image, the idea that they would leave women in their homes when they were dead for so long before taking them to have them embalmed because of things that could happen to them after they were still dead. I don't want to go further into saying that, like, because like that it's so grotesque to me.
It just clicked.
Yeah, I'm not going to say because I don't want to have that on. But think about like even just like after death, just things like that. So this helps heal the reproductive system. Helps heal, I would say, your confidence and your intuition, which is our womb space, or the sacral, if you want to call it sacral, because maybe you don't feel comfortable calling it womb space. I feel like even men have womb spaces personally. AFABs, like I feel like all of us
find words that resonate with you. Yeah, for sure.
I'm like when I'm describing to my boys how to connect with their energy, I'm like, connect with your womb space, and I'm like, oh yeah. But I mean, they do still have that because they're still connected. They were in my womb, so they're still connecting with me on that point. Is what I feel like. So yeah, Laguz, Ostara, connecting with fertility. There's also reproductive fertility, your intuition, spring, really tapping into just being outside and just being present. And even if there's a lot going on in your world, find that one thing, that one small thing. Let's give it a challenge. Find the one thing that can make you smile and enjoy the new bloom coming, right?
This concludes another episode of our Weaving Magick podcast.
We release one episode a week, so be sure to subscribe to catch the latest episode as soon as it releases. You can find us on Instagram at Weaving Magick Podcast. That's Weaving Magick, Magick Podcast.
We would also love it if you could leave us a review. If you do, make sure to email us your review so we can send you a thank you gift. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to find a way to weave magic into your daily life.